Well, thanks. We're back for our number 6 episode. This weekend, we just got back from the NEA Speedway down in Harrisburg, Arkansas. We had a very good time. We're going to talk about that tonight, and then we're going to pass it over to Josh. He's going to tell us about some other big money races if you guys want to travel around with street stocks. We're not going to get every place in the world because we feel like we really need to talk about the ones we know about. So it's going to be, right here in states that touch us. So, Josh, what do you got?
Well, I've got a list of the remaining big money street stock races for the rest of this year. By big money, we mean 2,000 win or more. So I've got a list of those, and we'll kind of go over those and the tracks that they're at. Maybe talk about the rules packages that go along with it. It's all pretty similar, but one of the evils with our class is that no two are the same, and no two are really that different.
So close.
Anyway, we'll take a break, and when we come back with the show, we'll go over these things.
And we're back. Well, this weekend, or actually last weekend, we were off at Lucas Oil Speedway. We're kind of lucky that, in some ways, we raced probably 14 nights, I think, at Lucas Oil Speedway throughout the year. And they have such a facility there that they have boat racing and sprint cars and all this other stuff, that we get several nights off. We go pretty hard 4 or 5 nights out at the beginning, and then it's kind of scattered the rest of the year. That allows us to stay home, race for points, and then on the weekends off, we get to travel out and go to some big money races or just some races we've never been to before. Last weekend, it worked out, and I got my motor fixed in time. I broke a pickup tube. Jim Rubel got me fixed back up just in the nick of time. We went to NEA Speedway in Harrisburg, Arkansas. Had a blast. It's about 5.5 hours from.
Five and a half from this location.
There's no good way to get to Arkansas from here, but we've managed to get 80 foot of Big Ideas down the road and get down there. Big Blue made it. It's a really nice little facility there. Jonesboro is just right there within spitting
30
distance.
minutes. Yeah.
It is a big town. I didn't really ever give that place the credit it probably deserves.
College town.
It's a huge town.
But the good part about that, it gives you get a little bit of the rural feel at the track, but then you're close enough if you want to go eat. Where we go, Lone Star Steakhouse.
Yep. Had a big ribeye in the middle of the day.
Big ribeye. If you need a Walmart, anything you need is close enough.
Multiple hotels.
Right.
A lot of people need hotels and stuff like that. So it's pretty keen that it's like that. One thing about that track is everybody needs to know up front, it is down a gravel road. It's about a mile. It's wide. I drove my Trans Am down it without any damage or nothing like that. It's not like it's bad. But just don't be surprised, We should never get so far away from our racing that we don't want to go to tracks, just because of something like that. I think that's a minor deal. They have a really, really nice pits. I kind of like, they're not necessarily flat, but they're sloping, and you can see the race from about any place in the pits. That was a nice, handy thing. That worked good. I like that.
Like you said, plenty of room, and they were relatively hard packed. I mean, we had the car up on the jack there a few times, and no issues or anything like that, and it all worked out.
They had, we've been to tracks before. The grass is tall, and it was nice and mowed, and it was a really nice place. The track is a little smaller than Wheatland, just a little.
Yeah. It
was funny that the gearing didn't show that so much, but it's a real high bank. I shouldn't say real, but it's pretty high bank, D-shaped. So when you're coming off of 2, you're in it the whole back straightaway. And that's a different deal. That's a really unique thing. Springfield is like that to some extent.
Right.
Which really makes your corner entry into 3 a fun thing. We went down there, started in our heat, actually on the pole, drew a good number for once. I was having a lot of trouble figuring out where my corner indexing and the apex needed to be and all that. And right off the bat, Jeremy Russell, of course, is in my heat. Blew right by me like I was on jack stands. Showed me a few lines, and then we ran off and had a pretty good race. Tony Anglin was down there, and Derek Brown was down there. David Hendricks. We had 3 Lucas cars there. The heat race went real good. Finished second. So then we made it to transferred the next night. It was a 2-night event. $100 entry fee. If you made the race, it was $300. Now I realize that's not just boiling over in profit. But it's
enough to pay for most people's trip down there.
It pays for your trip down there. For us, it's all pretty well paid for our entry fees, our pit passes for the whole weekend. And how many times we go race and just lose it all. So
exactly.
It was the guy that runs that, Fred Edwards Jr., really, really works his tail off. He did all of the track prep, watering, blading, all of it himself.
Moving of the Uke tires
by hand.
By hand, yeah.
By hand. I've seen him. He was working hard, and he was, like I said, by himself. He really put a lot of effort into his track. They only had 20-some cars.
I believe, was it 21 to start with?
I think it was 21 cars. So if you came down there and tried, you were going to win $300.
Right.
Bottom line,
exactly.
You had a shot of racing against the Tony Anglins, the Derek Browns, a lot of the other top names cars that was down there. Some of the guys from up around the St. Louis Farmington area.
Oh, Brian Worley, yeah, he finished second. He was wicked fast.
Yeah, blew by me at the end there. That was a really good experience. It's always good to go to another track. I promise you, anytime you go to another track and race against other good drivers, when you come back to your home track, you are going to be faster than when you left.
Right.
It broadens your horizons. It opens you up to lines and stuff that you never would have thought of.
One of the things that I thought was so interesting is, we did not turn a tap on this car all weekend.
We did nothing.
Didn't change. Our setup was 100% our Lucas setup, where we go from being hereditarily tight all the time. All of a sudden, this car turned like a dream down there.
Beautiful.
And it just goes to show you the different types of dirt, the corner apexes. There's so much to be learned from traveling the different tracks. It's just all part of the experience. Some of the habits you can learn bad habits by sticking to one track all the time.
Agreed completely. And we watched them work on the track Saturday and thought they were crazy. It was just dry and they were just packing it down. Well, they fooled us. They proved that they knew what they were doing. The track there Saturday night was awesome. It was a really, really good track. It was really, really slick. I started 4th row inside. In just a few minutes, I got to the top 5. Hayes was there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was me and Derek and Dave and Hayes and McKeg won, and I was having a blast. My car haven't been doing that good all year, and we had
It was going forward.
It was going forward.
For a minute.
We did really, really good. The track did kind of lock down, and what I want to say is I just hear lots of bashing of people saying that people drive rough down there around that kind of country. At one time, I seen 3 sets of left front wheels going into 3, and nobody has hardly any body damage. Me and Tony Anglin got together just a little bit.
Right.
Me and Billy Britt, I think, touched a little bit. But my car, you don't need any service. It's fine.
Right.
It was really clean racing, really tight on somewhat stop and go by the end of the 50 laps. It was a 50-lap race on what would you call it, a big quarter?
I would call it, between quarter and 3/8.
It was a really fun event. I didn't see anybody overly stressed or everybody was pretty laid back, wanting to do good.
Right. It was a very relaxed atmosphere, and something that we talk about all the time is the kind of camaraderie there is in the pits. For the most part, everybody was glad to see everybody.
And what I've seen, everybody can say whatever they want about Arkansas, but they must have some good internet because everybody in the world knew who we were. I've never had so many people come up to me and shake my hands. I signed autographs. It was you guys made me feel great down there. Very welcome. Everybody there was so appreciative that me and the rest of the Lucas Oil cars came down there. And it really felt like we were something.
It does kind of feel odd to read stuff and be referred to as heavy hitters. I mean, really, I chuckle, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it just, we appreciate it, all the guys that came to our Big Buck 50 race. So I know what that's like, on the other end of the spectrum.
And in the same breath, when the people come to your tracks for any of your specials, keep in mind, look how much difference it made to us just so people come up and spoke, shook your hands.
Right.
Man, we love following you guys on Facebook.
Sure.
Pay that back to that guy when that comes to your track.
Sure. Sure.
We really had a great time down there. Who else was down there? Let's kind of give a brief rundown.
Oh, Lord.
Keg won it.
Keg won.
Worley was second. Hayes.
I think Hayes finished third.
Fourth was Derek Brown.
Finished fourth. Hendricks.
Fifth. I think I ended up 12th. Anglin was in front of me.
Yep.
Tony Anglin, a real good racer from down in Arkansas. Was there anybody else that really stood out? Billy Britt finished ahead of me.
Ahead of you, yeah.
Right there at the end. About got him back on the last try on a caution. Oh. But we just had a really good time. Now, anytime you guys get an off weekend at your track, I really wanted you to encourage you. Load your stuff up, take your friends, go with a good attitude, If I finish the race, it's successful, and
Right.
you'll come home blank. It was great. We had so much fun. It was real relaxed atmosphere, like you said, and it couldn't be better.
That's one of the cool things about that. That's one of the cool things about the street stock class. I think that draws the people to it that are dedicated to it is. I think sometimes in late models and mods and stuff, it's so, not saying that our class isn't competitive, because it is. It's very competitive. But I think in the other divisions, you see it's almost over competitive to the point where people don't get along with each other
Correct.
and enjoy each other.
Correct.
And that's something.
I hope we don't never lose that.
Right.
You know, it needs to go together like a gear. You know,
Right.
Everybody was visiting with everybody. As soon as it got over, everybody's sweaty and excited, and everybody's hugging and shaking hands. And that's a great
I didn't
time.
get any hugs.
I did.
Did you get hugs?
Yeah,
No,
believe
okay.
me,
Okay.
Brett was hot. But it was a really fun event, and just if you ever get a shot, go somewhere else and spread the street stock love. Well, on that note, I think we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back in a minute to talk about some other traveling shows.
All right, welcome back to Hitting the Chip. Now we're going to kind of go over some of the remaining big money street stock races that we have left in 2016. And by big money, we mean 2,000 or more. You know, these days I think just about all these tracks are having some 500 and 1,000 to win stuff. But these are more of the prestigious races that for our kind of street and factory stock type of cars. So the first one we got coming up here is in just a couple weeks away. It's at Batesville Motor Speedway, 20th through the 21st. It's the first race in their Big Four series. This first one's going to pay $3,000 to win. You remember, gosh.
It's been a long time ago. We always heard stories about go to Batesville. If you're going to be a man, you got to go to Batesville.
And that was pretty much Tim Brown is the one that got us started on all that stuff.
I bought a Tim Brown Camaro, and I thought that it was ready to go. I had a 97 Ford 3/4 ton, and we loaded everything that was race car related in that. I think we stopped at West Plains and put oil in it, and stopped at Batesville and put oil in it.
Yeah.
And we
had a trailer that was designed for boat lifts.
It had pontoon boat tires on it, but it worked really well. But that weekend will never, ever be replaced. That was so much fun. You know, I remember when it
What
got...
an ass whipping it
What
was,
an ass
too.
whipping it was. We had heavy clutches, and them guys could have all that stuff, and we didn't know what we were doing. And it was so hot. I mean, it's been almost 20 years that I pulled in after the B feature, only 25 laps, and thought I was going to die.
Right?
Came off the track, and Josh handed me a towel because it was like 270 degrees, and he's going to put water on the radiator. And I held it over my face so that the steam wouldn't burn me. And I was looking through the rivet holes in the floor, and flames was blowing out of the headers 18 inches where that thing was just melting down right there.
That was back in the day, if that dates anything, that after the race where everybody would put the hood in front of the air cleaner on the engine, and two other guys would go to pouring, fuel jugs worth of water down the radiator just to get them cooled off.
That was an amazing trip. That probably was the worst thing we could have ever done to make us not quit, Yeah. One other thing about the Batesville, the Big Four race he's talking about. Mooney Star, who's a really intelligent promoter, made a deal that if you'll come to these 4 races and you're not from Arkansas, right?
Right.
You can't have an Arkansas driver's license. But if you got your state has to touch Missouri, and then each person that comes from that state gets in their own class and has a point system. So you could win the Missouri point system or the Oklahoma point system, or however that would work.
Gotcha.
So that's how that works. That's how that was started.
Gotcha.
So what did you look that up? What did that end up paying?
I don't know. No, we talked about this earlier, fool. I didn't. We thought it was $1,000.
It's a good idea. You should come.
But we weren't sure. So I don't want Mooney to beat up on me if we get down there and he wants the other 500 from me for these.
It's a worthwhile deal. Now, didn't Dave Hendricks won it last year?
Yeah, I believe Dave Hendricks won the Missouri one. I'm not sure who won the other states, but going back and reiterating on Mooney Star, talk about somebody who really made street stock guys feel like they were big time racers. He was kind of the originator of that.
His drivers' meetings are crazy. You would come to his drivers' meeting and he would say, "Who's that old boy over there put that motor in that car today? I'm gonna give you $100 bill right here." Then if you weren't at the drivers' meeting, he goes, "Who's that?" He ain't here. Well, if he just lost $100 bill, he's supposed to be at the driver's meeting.
My favorite one was, he would be like, "Hey, who drives that really good looking red and white, Struck Camaro over there. He goes, that is an awesome looking car. Here's $100.
Pay you $100 just to come to the driver's meeting. That was some great times, and he sure is good at that.
I think my favorite Mooney moment that I ever saw was there. I'm sure it was for the 10,000 win race, and they've got everybody lined up 2 by 2, ready to take the flag, and he comes carrying down that 5-foot trophy, carries it down
really
onto the
5
track, in between the rows of cars as they come by, sits that thing in the track in the middle of all of them and points at it, and you could just, guys were revving engines, and hair,
talking about it.
I know.
Yeah.
So that was an awesome moment. So really, hats off to that guy. We talk about trying to make street stock racing a big deal, like modifieds and late model stuff. There's the guy with that vision to begin with. So
for sure.
Next on the list, a week after that first of the Big 4 races at Batesville Speedway is Legit Motor Speedway. May 26th to 28th has got another 3,000 to win.
Formerly known as West Plains
Motor Speedway. Right.
The Stobel family, I believe, bought it.
Yep. Has rights to it, owns it, whatever.
And they got it up and going. A few cautionary things that their shocks and springs still got to be stock locations.
Right. They have decided to remain a non-weight jack track. There is a weight penalty that I don't know the exact.
I think it's 200 pounds for the floor pan.
200 pounds for the floor pan.
Yeah.
If it's anything but original OEM floor pan. What else in there? They have a 40-inch deck height rule, as do most of these tracks now.
Yeah.
I think that was the majority of the differences.
I think so as well.
There.
And that is a very fun track. High momentum, high speed track, bright red clay. That's the reddest dirt we've ever run on, I think. Really nice facility.
Really, as far as reputation for being smooth and compact,
none beats it.
Yeah, that place is top notch. I think our first trip there also ended in a severe butt whipping, but was also very fun.
We get used to that.
Yeah, it's a recurring theme around us, but it's all right. Nobody loves it more than we do.
Hey, so. I think everybody looks at us and sees the attention we get and they're mad that we lose, and we still have a good time.
Yeah, I think that's
so
right.
The joke's on them.
I think that's right. So, after that, it looks like we bounced back and forth between Batesville and Legit Speedway a couple times here. June 17th and 18th. Back to Batesville for race number 2 of the Big 4, and this time it's a 4,000 to win race.
Now they do race there every week, pretty well every week, correct?
Correct.
They are a Friday night track as well?
I believe that is correct. Last I checked, yes. July 1st and 2nd, the infamous Firecracker 50 at Legit Speedway, 5,000 to win. Now we're really getting into some
real money.
Some real money.
And most of the time when they have a 5,000 to win race, your start's 300 to 500 just to qualify for the race.
Right.
So that if you can just qualify for the race, the load's kind of off your shoulders. Your weekend's about paid for. Well, now you can concentrate on trying to win.
Yep,
trying
exactly.
to make a little more money just because you're there.
Right, for sure. Sticking to that $5,000 purse again is Batesville is back 15th and 16th for race number 3 of the Big 4. There again, it's a 5,000 to win race. So by this time, somebody that's on a roll is packing some pretty good change.
And that sure, people complain sometimes about having a $20,000 street stock chassis. Well, if you're the man,
if you hit a lick,
look at what you done.
Yeah.
And people are going to talk about you forever if you make that work.
Right.
So that's
right.
what we're all after.
Okay, July 21st through 23rd. Tri-State actually is
Pensacola,
Oklahoma. We have never been there.
I've been there.
You've been there?
Mm-hmm.
Not? Have you raced there?
No, I just went and watched.
Gotcha.
I went down there. Everybody say it's in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Don't drive to Fort Smith, Arkansas and ask where the racetrack is, because it's a go-kart track. It's actually in Oklahoma.
Pensacola,
Oklahoma. That's a very unique facility. It's on the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
It's like a volcano. When you're up there at the track, you can see for miles in all directions. Me and Sean Daniels went down there a long time ago.
Gotcha. Some of our friends from over there, H. Palmer.
Yep.
Dale Richardson races there some.
I think Burl Woods has had some very good luck.
Burl Woods has had success there. Tony Anglin's always very fast there. Neil Johnston is a new JFM member.
Yep.
He's from that area. And that's a 5,000 to win show also.
It's a I wouldn't call it quite the banking of Batesville, but it's a fast track. Again, I would say that Batesville, West Plains, and probably Tri-State is probably about the fast overall mile per hour.
Gotcha.
And they're real similar, I think.
Gotcha. Awesome. For the month of September, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we're back at West Plains Motor Speedway. This time it's a 2,000 win show. They're kind of piggybacking on top of the reliable Chevrolet B-Mod Bonanza, which is a 5,000 win event. Patriot Race Engines is sponsoring that super stock race, and it's 2,000 win. So still very good money, especially to be on top of another big event.
And if you were close,
That's what. And like I've said before, big money B-Mod show combined with a big money super street show,
racing all night
you're
long.
gonna see a show for sure. So everybody needs to try and put that on their radar. Then what was historically has been the big daddy of all of them, as far as the biggest money street stock events to date. What?
September 10th.
That's what I'm getting on. So,
Batesville?
yeah.
Airplane.
Oh.
Got to race the airplane September 10th.
No, yeah, but they're only problem is here's the deal. Here's the problem with the airplane race. They're only taking one car to qualify.
We're already there.
And we have a provisional for that deal.
So we have to thank one of our sponsors, the Lake of the Ozarks Air Show and Campton Chamber of Commerce. We're going to get to race the airplane again. So
yeah, we do get to race the airplane again, which will be fun. I
want to bust 150 in a real race car. No windshield.
We're going to have to put the 4-barrel back on.
Guaranteed.
And probably we might have to put a big clutch transmission or something.
We can launch a little harder.
Yeah, we'll have to put a Midwest mod transmission.
There you go.
It'll still be a dirt car deal. But okay, back to what I was saying. September 15th, 16th, and 17th. The Schoenfeld Headers Street Stock Championship, 10,000 to win. I don't really think much needs said about that race other than
80 cars. They average 60 to 100. Everybody, and it wouldn't matter if there's only 30. Those 30 that show up are going to be the hardest 30 in our area to race with.
Right.
But just to be a part of a 100-car show is crazy. It is fun. You will get to see some beautiful cars destroyed, and you'll get to see some amazing racing, some amazing driving, and there's only one weekend like the Batesville weekend.
Right, that's for sure. And defending champion of that race, Tim Brown, one of our locals, and actually...
We can almost call him a mentor.
A mentor, true. Whether he knows it or not, he actually has a weekly spot. He actually has a weekly spot on the Hitting the Chip show.
Yeah, actually,
as part of the Alamo Arms.
Alamo Arms commercial. He's bought 100 1911 Colts lately. But.
So, okay. Then after that, probably our favorite race of the year.
The best race ever.
Yeah, best race ever, best track ever. That's what we'll say.
In our opinion.
In our opinion.
We make fun of a lot of stuff that Dan Robinson does at Lucas Oil Speedway because he's very, very late model minded. Well, he's supposed to be. That's his job.
And we like him.
And we
make fun of the people.
So we can make a lot of fun of him. Well, he got tired of hearing his mouth, and he said, well, you boys want your own race so bad. Just do it then. Have at it. And he kind of gave us some free reign. And we actually ended up getting one of our good friends, Craig Danuser, in a whitetail trophy hunt. Actually one of my sponsors as well. And we're sitting where his car usually sits. He actually sponsored the thing. I thought he was nuts when he did it. But he's actually had some real good feedback on it on his hunt. He has a whitetail trophy hunt similar to a bass tournament. And part of the deal is he's added $1,000 a year. And then now this year, it's up to what, 5?
It's a 5,000 to win show.
Plus, if you win, you also get into his hunt. A free entry fee. That hunt costs $3,000 to be in that hunt. Now, if you enter that hunt, and I think it's if you kill the top 20 or 10 or 20, you get a free hunt the next year. So this could roll into multiple years worth of hunting after racing's over, and most of us are outdoorsmen as well.
Right.
So and if the guy that won it last year is $15,000 real live dollars, and he can go up from there with some special prizes. So we're really excited about that. We're going to have a show probably dedicated.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
We're going to get Craig to come in here. We'll have his car all shined up. Provided we better do that pretty quick before the car gets tore up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we better do that pretty quick.
Maybe we should go ahead and record it now and then air it later.
But we have a great time at that. Dan seems to be happy with the growth. We
I think
had
so.
how many last year? 70, either 72,
70
almost 80, something like that.
I think it was one more than what they had at the Batesville race was the official
And that was
count.
our second year trying to do this. So, Facebook friends and stuff like that, you guys have really helped us out.
Absolutely.
We have our own page, Big Buck 50 at Lucas Oil Speedway. Keep track on there. We do pointers and hits and stupid stuff all there at random all the time. So if you want to keep up on that, check that out. And it's going to be a great time. Craig has one of 6 the world record whitetail mounts.
Gotcha.
He has it there. I think they carried it around in the back of the truck for under the pre-laps,
Right.
And
Yeah.
we make it into a big deal. So I think this year I would be really tickled if we had between 80 and 100.
I remember last year that dang set of horns got more pictures and autographs
Than any car.
Than any car.
Yeah,
So
it was quite the.
I'm
thing
looking
talk
forward to
about.
having Craig on the show. For anyone that doesn't know Craig, he's quite the storyteller.
Yeah.
So it'll
He's
be
one of a
interesting
kind.
to see what we can come up with there. But that's October 7th and 8th. Yeah, it's going to be an awesome show. Go ahead. Did you
I
have
think
something?
that's pretty much rounds out the year. Tri-State has their spooker later in the year after that.
After the Big Buck 50. We're not sure what the payout is on that, but
It's a very prestigious.
it's a prestigious race.
Very
so.
prestigious race.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break and wrap up, and we'll be back.
With some closing thoughts.
All right, we're back to wrap up the show for today. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, and we enjoyed putting on this show. We're going to try and keep it fresh and interesting for you. Tell them a bit more how they can check into us.
After our trip to NEA, the amount of people that just poured over us and told us how much they liked the show and keep it up, that's what it's all about. Keep sharing our page. Anybody that wants to become interested in sponsoring some part of it, any part, we'll wear your shirt, we'll drink your beer. It don't matter. We're wanting to do this as much as we can. We all really enjoy doing this. So if you want to get in contact with us, look up our Facebook page, Hitting the Chip. That's the name of the Facebook page. Sean Colbert is the guy on there that you're going to be talking to. Also at the end of the show, always has his information on the bottom of it. Big Planet Media is the name of his real company. So if you got something other than this that you want to have a commercial shot for, he shot some for me and lots of my friends and family, and always does a good job. If we'd like this show to be primarily about street stocks and about local racing. We would like to branch out. We didn't talk about the Why Not Motor Speedway. We've never been there, and we didn't feel like we were smart enough and educated enough to talk about it. That's why we don't go there. So don't think we're shunning anybody or trying to leave anybody
Right,
out.
I would like to look into some NEA Smith stuff.
We would love to go there. We all have lives and we're still working, and we'll get there. I really feel that we can.
We're just talking about what we kind of half-ass know about.
Yeah, and we feel like we can't talk about it in confidence. We need to shut up because what we talk about, we think we know. Half of it ain't.
Right.
So we really appreciate you. If you got any fresh ideas or anything you want to cover about, or a tech tip for Josh that you're always been wondering about, hit us up on our Facebook page, Hitting the Chip, and we'll be happy to try to make something work for you. Well, guys, thank you very much. We appreciate every one of you that tune in and watch us, and we love it when you share our page. Whenever them views start having a K behind them, that's awesome. So from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.